TheDomotaku, and today I talk about an anime movie that one of you, my viewers, requested, and that is Saekano the movie finale. Let's begin. So originally I watched Saekano the movie, this is my second time watching it. I did watch it one time, however the subtitles in that video that I watched were very questionable and confused the heck out of me, so I kind of understand the grasp of the movie entirely just visually looking at what happens, but then the context and the finer detail and the subtitles, I wanted to know that. That's why I went to go watch the movie a second time with more better subtitles that I finally did understand. And what I have to say about the movie is great. This movie, watching it a second time, was overall just really great and just made me realize how much Saekano has kind of grown the ranks of one of my favorite anime series of all time, I guess. I'd say I don't know about top 10, but top 15, 20, 30, it's up there. After watching this, I'm just like, man, this series is good. I like the characters, like the plot, I like the relationships, like everything here, but it's done. And I'm just like, as much as this movie really does have a solid conclusion to the series overall and the group, and it just, it leaves you very satisfied in the end, I would love to see more from Saekano and its characters. So this movie came out 2019. The first season, which I did ironically cover in my channel, was 2015. Although that was back in a time when I didn't show my face on YouTube and stuff. Voice crack. And then second season, I believe, was 2017. Now, I covered maybe a few episodes, or maybe just the last episode, I forget exactly what, but I did talk about both seasons. And this movie was in 2019, we're in 2021 now, so if there are still somewhat questionable spoilers, then click off the video, go check out the movie for yourself before I fanboy about this movie. So do it now. Okay, so yeah, this movie came out in 2019. I forget, I think I watched it in 2020. Yeah, it's probably 2020 with the weird subtitles. And now that I watched it recently with better subtitles and a better understanding and grasp of the details and subtitles in the movie and the plot, it was great. So this movie honestly is just how could I put it? This movie is basically solidifies KATO as best girl. Basically, this is what this movie encapsulates for me personally when I watched it the second time, and just being super fanboying and happy with all the moments with KATO and Tomoya, because that's how it is basically. Literally this whole movie is, I wouldn't say it's mostly a slice of, it is a slice of life romance movie, but mostly this whole movie just focuses on the relationship between KATO, Megumi, and Tomoya, because season 1 and 2, they built a lot of stuff. Season 1, I believe, they're making the game, they create the team. Second season, whatchamacallit, they leave the team, Utaha and Eri, and then it's just KATO and Tomoya, and they're gonna do their own thing. And then in here, they're working on their latest game, or I don't know if it's their first or second game in their Dojin Circle or their game group. I don't know, I'm pretty sure it's called a Dojin Circle, but they're making a visual novel, right? And basically, I don't know if this is their second or first work from their team, but essentially, the beginning of the movie really emphasizes just how much KATO and Tomoya have developed and sort of grown with each other throughout the season 1, 2, and this movie. Because the first part of the scene is a concert with Icy Tail and his cousin, I forget her name because she's not heavily involved in the plot most of the time. And afterwards, it's they're working on their game, and legit KATO is just walking up to Tomoya's house to wake him up and make him food and cook for him and take care of him. And I'm just bro, this girl's literally your waifu, or basically takes care of you. And essentially throughout the first half of the movie, we're getting so much snippets and just relationship development with them too, because they constantly talk a lot. They're always working together with the game and stuff, because Megumi's the director, I guess, or at least the assistant. Tomoya, of course, writes the script. He's the lead of the team, and you have his cousin doing the music, and then I forget this other character's name. I believe her name's Izumi. She's doing the art to replace Eri, and they're in their game and they're trying to do the final route of the game, which is like a parody of Tomoya and Megumi's route, because the visual novel or the game they're making is ironically called Saekano, or not Saekano, but How to Raise a Boy and Girlfriend. So that's pretty funny. And essentially, it's a parody of his relationship meeting Kato throughout the whole series, right? So that's super funny. And they just like talk to each other a lot. And those moments where you just have those two together is just, it's great. It's really great, man. Throughout season 1 and 2, like I didn't see Megumi as like up there. Like maybe Utaha was like my favorite best girl throughout season 1 and 2. But slowly over time, towards the end of season 2, Megumi's just like really high up the ranks, and this movie just solidifies her place as best girl and the main girl in this movie. So overall, this movie is really great, and it does have a really set up nice conclusion for all the characters, mostly in the end too, like especially Kato and Tomoya, because they're the ones that kind of like it's so good, because they're the ones who started it in the first season with Tomoya meeting Kato in the hill and stuff, and like, you know, being inspired to make the game. And then now they're the ones making the game together, because the other two left, unfortunately. And like, it's just so nice. It's so conclusive, really good ending. I don't know how to describe this in words. I'm just honestly fanboying about this movie because I like it a lot. But yeah, so that's all nice and neat for the most part. Like, you know, they're like Skyping each other at night and staying up late to work together and talk to each other about the game and work. And then eventually there's like not too much of a confliction in this game, or in this movie. To an extent there is, but like essentially the conflicting point in the middle of the movie is where Utaha and Eri's manager, who sort of took them from Blessing Software and his group to work on this other high budget, well-known game, Fields Chronicle, I believe. Her name's Akane, I believe. And essentially she kind of like gives some advice and helps out Tomoya in writing his own visual novel. So they're kind of like, you know, they work in the same industry or the same job and stuff, and they kind of respect each other. Except one day she suddenly has like this stroke where it impacts her business, and she can't actually use her right arm to, like, I guess write or draw. I believe she's an artist. So that was really impactful to the game that Utaha and Eri are working on, which kind of conflicts Tomoya to go lend a hand to them, because he still respects them as creators. Except in choosing to do so, he makes Megumi super jealous, because they're like, you know, like, sure, it's a shame that like their game is kind of like in this situation, and they might have to cut down on their work, their story, and their art and whatnot. But like, he respects them as like creators so much that he like drops everything from his game and like, you know, goes out to like, you know, help them out. And that was just like, it's not the wrong move, but like I could see why, you know, you wouldn't want to worry about that kind of stuff. But in the end, they ask him for his help, and like, I don't know why Tomoya has like the authority or the power to like voice his opinion for this game and speak for Uta and Eri, because like he goes to their city, right, or some faraway place, right, and he goes in with a suit and he's basically a representative for them, and he's like, oh, please don't cut this and that from the game, let them continue doing their work, we'll get them to you in like 2 weeks or something like that. And surprisingly it works. So I'm just like, this big game company is taking this random dude's advice and, you know, begging them to like, yes, please let Eri and Uta do their story and art. We will get them to you, I promise. Like, don't cut like half of the game out, right? And, you know, I didn't know why that was kind of a thing. It was just like, yeah, let's have this otaku dude talk about it, and maybe he can convince this company to keep their work and stuff. And it works. So that's kind of like the one thing that kind of confused me about this like whole like movie, just a little bit, because, you know, I'm just like, I didn't understand how having him go to wherever they were to talk to their company and convince them to extend the game, or at least like, you know, extend their deadline to create their works, worked, right? And I'm just like, okay, I guess he has some authority, or he knew Akane and he knew the potential of Eri and Utaha and stuff like that. So aside from that, that's like my one nitpick from this movie, okay? So it just kind of confused me, but I didn't really, you know, think too much about it. So he convinces them to extend the deadline for the game, or at least like, you know, the work for the game, some art, some characters, story, the works. And essentially, in doing so, Megumi is pissed at Tomoya because he legit like dropped everything and to help out Eri and Utaha in their game and stuff. So then in their game, the Saekano game, they're like, well, what do we do? Our lead's kind of like, off helping out everyone else. So I guess we're just, stuck doing whatever. And then it's that point where they just realize how much everything means to Kato, their game, their relationship and everything. He even ditched her on her birthday, which was like, it was a sad move, but like seriously, if someone has a stroke in front of you and like you're the only person that can help, then yes, it's a life and death situation. So that was a pass. But like going off to help out the others in their game while your game's kind of like still in progress, questionable move, but whatever. I mean, that's what happens. So essentially, Tomoya does successfully help them create their deadline, meet their deadline, their characters, their writing, the works, and he immediately rushes back to his hometown to continue work on their game and stuff because he kind of feels thing for leaving Megumi and their game. And then that is when we have the best scene in the movie where everything comes together, where freaking Tomoya confesses to Megumi and they have a nice moment together. The first moment was pretty funny because he kind of fucks up, but like that was funny too because they put that in the game, and that was the best moment. Man, I'm fanboying way too hard about this. That was the best moment of the movie. Like they kiss like 3 times like that, but the first time he misses because he's super embarrassed and he's an otaku and stuff like that, and like that was hilarious. That was good. So that was like the solidification, right? That Megumi is the main heroine, she's best girl. And then essentially afterwards, you kind of have the result where Eri and Uta kind of have to accept that fact, and they're kind of like, very sad because Eri is the childhood friend and she likes him probably a lot more. Utaha did kind of sneak a kiss in the second season at the end of that. I forgot about that. So, she had the lead just for a bit, but, she's kind of like on the realization that I was like, oh shoot, he totally likes Megumi. We're not in the picture. He spends more time with her, and like we're not part of the main route, sort of thing. So essentially, they make their game, and it turned out to be a success. And that was it. That was just like, oh, that's really all the movie. Okay, cool. But of course, the parts where like Eri and Uta kind of like have to accept the fact that they lost, or like they're out of the picture. That was a sad the very first time I watched it. Watching it a second time, it was like, okay. So in the end, they create their game, and it's a success, and everything's a success. And I thought that was going to be it, right? But no, there's more. So there's an after credits, or not after. I was after the credits. There's an after post credit scene or whatever, where the characters are older. We get to see Kato and Tomoya older, and I'm just like, oh shoot, like what is this? Like we're actually seeing like some actual conclusion stuff here. Like what happened to them afterwards, right? And it turns out that Tomoya did not pursue, his career in like making a game. And then Kato's talking with him in a cafe, and they're thinking about breaking up. And I'm just like, wait, what is happening? What is this? And then, it's just like, yeah, you didn't pursue your thing. I thought we were gonna create games together when we're all like continue to make games and stuff. And we barely see each other and stuff. Like maybe we should just break up. And then like he seems so like depressed and lifeless, and this future looks like super grim and bad. And I'm just like, what is happening? I'm so confused. And then in the end, it turns to freaking 180, where he meets Utaha when she's older, and it turns out to be a freaking script for a game that they're trying to make, and it's like the bad end route of the game, and it's just like, oh my goodness, that fucking like that scene, literally the first time I watched it, it screwed my mind. I was like, no, there's no way that this is like actually happening, right? Like, what is this? And then yeah, it's basically the real future is basically Tomoya has grown older, and he is still making games in Blessing Software, and he's hiring Utaha and Eri to make a game with him. And that is essentially the whole series gone in 360 and come back together, because season 1 they create the team, then season 2 they kind of left the team, and then now that they are a fully legit company and they did their Fields Chronicle big hit title game, now he has the power and the credibility and the company to hire them and to fulfill their dream to work together and create a game together. So that's all good and all, and I was just like, oh, that's pretty nice. And then Kato and Tomoya are still a thing. They live together now. They work together in the game still. Michiru is still making the songs. They have the same artists and stuff. The whole team is basically together. And I was like, this is pretty solid. This is a solid conclusion for the movie, and I'm super happy about it. Like, I can't be upset about it because, well, there's nothing there, but like towards the end of the movie, basically everyone just kind of ransacks in their house, and like they're just chilling in there, freeloading, and like, you know, they're having a great time, and like, oh, the team's back together, and that is literally the end of the movie. So now that I'm talking about the end of the movie, I kind of feel like in the feels right now because it's concluded. It's over. Saekano, you know, season 1 and 2 was great. Season 3 was a freaking masterpiece, like so good, and it's done. It's concluded. I feel kind of sad now talking about this. So this movie, having it like get the movie, like, you know, production, and just being able to finally conclude everything was just really great for Saekano. And honestly, like I said in the beginning of the video, this movie kind of made me put Saekano way up high in my rankings of my anime, like top whatever, top 30s, top 20s, whatever. And oh my gosh, it once again, the feels are hurting because it's over. So I'm pretty sure I gave this movie like a 9 on my anime list. It's up there. It's a pretty good movie. Like, I don't have any gripes with it. Sure, like, no, I don't have any gripes with it. Like, it's just a good movie. It's just a huge, like, Tomoya Megumi movie. Basically, that's what this movie is, and it was great. There's some funny moments too. There's a lot of funny moments, and there's some very, you know, heartwarming moments with relationship development and stuff. And overall, it's a good movie. It's a really good movie. So that's it for Saekano. Every time I keep saying that, I feel it in my chest. So I'm like, this is like the end of the series sort of thing. But that's just how it goes, you know? That's the finale. So that is it for Saekano, the movie, the finale. I hope you all enjoyed my review on this movie. It's pretty good. And, you know, I just like series like this, like slice of life kind of thing. Like, that's my jam. And thank you, my viewer, who requested that I watch this movie, or not requested, like, essentially, this is really rare, but like, he asked me if I'd seen the movie, and technically I did watch the movie. I don't know if I wanted to make the video the first time, because I did have the janky subtitles and stuff, but I was very questionable about making the video, even if I watched it a second time. However, because he asked, this viewer right here, and you know, because he asked, I was like, you know, let me go give it a shot. I'll go check it out a second time and actually watch it with the subtitles better. And after watching it a second time, I felt compelled to just talk about it because of how much I like Saekano now after this movie. And if you guys want to ask me, like, you know, have you seen this? Have you seen this? What are your thoughts on this? Leave it in the comment section below. I might take a look at it and make a video on it eventually. But thank you, viewer, who asked me about this movie, because watching it a second time really just, it hurts in the feels, man. This movie was just way too damn great. I'm fanboying way too hard right now. But that's it, and I hope you all enjoyed. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Comment in the below if you have any questions or want to ask me if I've seen anything else. And subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you all in the next video on the TheDomotaku channel. Take care, guys. See you later. Show me what you got, you assassin, you? Do I have a catalyst, you? Where are you? Consort, you? I don't know what I'm saying, you? A saber, that's not you. Last ticket, show up, you? Assassin, servant, spin, you? Oh, it's a gold assassin, you? Yes!